All right, you borrow $608 from your mom and agree to pay back $770 in 3 months. What simple interest rate will you pay? So let's again label what we have and figure out what we're looking for so that we can use the correct formula or the correct variation. I borrow $680. This is the amount that the loan is, the initial amount. I'm paying 770. So that's the 680 plus a good amount of interest. That is the final amount. 770. Sorry if I said something else. I don't know if I did, but 770 is the final amount and it's in 3 months. That is the time we're given. Now, before I write n equals 3, if I were to write n equals 3, that's me saying 3 years. Is 3 months the same thing as 3 years? No, 3 months is a fraction of a year. It's less than a year, which means we have to build that fraction out of it. All right, now is this going to be 3 out of 360 or 3 out of 365? The question on that is also no, right? This is not 3 days. So it's not going to be 3 out of 360 or 365. It's 3 months. So to know what fraction of a year that is, you have to recognize that there are 12 months in a year. If you were given a number of weeks, there are 52 weeks in a year. So the fraction would be out of 52. Months, it's out of 12. Days, it's out of 360 or 365, depending on the banker's rule. All right, so for months, there are 12 months in a year, which means my n here is 3 out of 12. It's a fraction of a whole because it's less than 1 year. It's going to be 3 out of 12, which again can simplify down to 1/4, but you can just leave it as 3 over 12, put it into your calculator in that way and not worry about rounding issues, although there wouldn't be a rounding issue on 3/12 because it would be 0.25. It's a nice terminated decimal exact value. All right, what is it we're looking for? It says what interest rate, what simple interest rate specifically? We want to find R. Again, we could start from the initial formula for simple interest, and we could plug everything else in, and then we could solve for R, or we can go back to our previous page where we had already solved for R, and we can just use this formula now. R is already a loan here. We just need to plug everything else in. So it's going to be the end value minus the initial divided by the initial times the number of the pay period. So that's 770 minus 680 over a product of 680 times 3/12. Right, take a moment. If you are struggling to get the same answer as me, you may want to make sure you have parentheses around these. Parentheses 770 minus 680 and parentheses divided by a product. The bottom may also actually need to be in there. It will if you're, again, depending on your calculator. Some, when you hit that division sign, pop it into a big fraction like we have here, so it's not an issue, but others need these extra sets. So no matter what, I really need you to be practicing in your notes and your homework assignments using the calculator you intend to use, just to make sure we're clearing up any confusion on how it's utilized. All right, when you put this in your calculator, you should be getting 0.529. 411,764. That's the amount that I wrote out from my previous notes. All right. This is our rate. Now you wouldn't say, oh, the rate 0.529. All right. You give it in a percentage, like all the previous examples, they're given to us in percentages. We use the decimal form in our formulas. All right. So the rate here, the simple interest rate, is we need to turn it back into a percentage. So 2 places, 1 for each little zero on the percentage, maybe 52.9%.